The sky is thick with smoke. It drifts low over the walls, clinging to stone, choking the narrow streets below. A distant boom rolls across the city. Then another. The ground trembles. Beneath Vienna, men are digging. This is the story of the Siege of Vienna, 1683. It is not the first time this city has faced such a threat. More than a century earlier, in 1529, another Ottoman army stood before these same walls. Led by Suleiman the Magnificent, they came with overwhelming force. But the rains turned the roads to mud, supply lines faltered, and as winter approached, cold and disease did what armies could not. The invaders withdrew. Vienna endured. Now, they have returned. In the late 17th century, Europe stands divided. Empires press against each other like tectonic plates. To the east, the vast and expanding Ottoman Empire, a power that had already taken Constantinople under Mehmed II, pushing deep into the Balkans, Hungary, and beyond. Cities fell, populations displaced. And across conquered lands, conversion, taxation, and submission followed in its wake. At its height, the empire was feared not only for its size, but for the relentlessness of its expansion. At its head in 1683, Sultan Mehmed IV, a ruler more distant from the battlefield, yet still a symbol of imperial authority. When war is declared, it is not subtle. In Constantinople, before the imperial palace, Austrian diplomats watch in silence. Two janissaries step forward. They carry horsehair standards. They plant them into the ground. It is a message without words. War. Soon after, the Sultan departs with the army. By tradition, marked as the empire's supreme authority. At Belgrade, he entrusts command to the Grand Vizier, Kara Mustafa Pasha. The army that moves west is immense, disciplined, engineered for conquest. Among them, the janissaries. Once, they were not soldiers. They were children. Taken from Christian families, raised within the empire, converted, trained, forged into one of the most elite fighting forces in the world. Now, they march toward Vienna. To the west, the Holy Roman Empire prepares. Its ruler, Leopold I, a cautious man, more politician than general. As the Ottoman army approaches, he makes a decision. He leaves the city. Not out of cowardice alone, but to preserve the leadership of the empire, to gather allies, to ensure Vienna's fall would not mean total collapse. On July 7th, a mass exodus begins. Civilians flee. Carts clog the roads. Families carry what they can, leaving the rest behind. Inside the city, those who remain prepare for siege. Command falls to Ernst Rüdiger von Starhemberg. With him, engineers like Georg Rimpler, men who understand that this battle will be decided not just by strength, but by time. Beyond the walls, another figure gathers forces. Charles V, Duke of Lorraine, tasked with delaying the Ottoman advance, buying precious days. By mid-July, the Ottoman army arrives. They encircle Vienna completely. Inside, the atmosphere tightens. On the first day, chaos. Fires break out. At one point, a figure in disguise, dressed in Viennese clothing, attempts sabotage, throwing burning material toward the city's arsenal. Fear spreads quickly. Then comes the bombardment. Day after day, the walls are struck. Buildings collapse. The sky is never clear. And beneath it all, the digging begins. Tunnels stretch under the earth. Inside Vienna, countermines answer them. A war in darkness. Starvation sets in. Supplies dwindle. Bread becomes scarce. Messengers risk everything. Some slip through enemy lines at night. Others swim the Danube, carrying desperate pleas for help. From St. Stephen's Cathedral, rockets are fired into the sky. Signals, calls for rescue. Still, the city holds. Among its people, not just Catholics, but Protestants as well. In a Europe already divided by faith, they now face a common enemy. Differences set aside. Survival becomes the only concern. And quietly, Scripture circulates. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Not shouted, not proclaimed, but remembered. Outside, Kara Mustafa grows impatient. The walls begin to fail. Explosions rip through the defenses, each one bringing the city closer to collapse. But beyond the horizon, help is coming. A coalition forms, supported by Pope Innocent XI, and at its head, John III Sobieski. By September, they reach the heights above Vienna. They look down and see a city on the edge. September 12th, 1683. Dawn breaks. The battle begins. Hours pass. Fighting spreads across the field. Then, late in the day, cavalry forms, the Winged Hussars, elite Polish horsemen, named for the wooden frames and feathers mounted on their backs, designed to intimidate, to terrify, to sound like thunder when they moved. They wait, then descend. At first, slow, then faster. The ground shakes beneath them. Thousands of riders moving as one, Sobieski at their head. Then, the charge. It crashes into the Ottoman lines with overwhelming force. Steel, noise, impact. Formations shatter, men scatter. The advance that had pushed so far into Europe breaks. By nightfall, the Ottoman army is in retreat. The siege is over. Vienna survives. The gates open slowly. The defenders step out into silence. The camp that once surrounded them, abandoned. The cost, everywhere. But the city still stands. In the years that follow, the expansion of the Ottoman Empire slows. The balance shifts. What once seemed unstoppable has been turned back. And Vienna becomes a symbol, not just of victory, but of endurance. Against overwhelming odds, they held. And in the quiet that follows, a single question remains. Against all odds, they withstood. Would you? If you want to see the stories of the Bible brought to life with the same cinematic detail you see on this channel, check out our Illustrated Bible. We've paired epic visuals with concise summaries of every book, making the history of the Word accessible for this generation. It's the ultimate companion for your study, available now on Amazon from the Vinedresser Press. Click the link in the description to bring these stories home. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.